Hi, Kathy and Ian. In this video I'm going to show you a new method of watering our garden that takes into account something called deep root irrigation. We don't need much for that, but for starters I'm going to use this emitter. It's called a deep root emitter. Actually, emitter is a name I made up. I don't know what the name is. It's just for deep root watering. And it has this soaker hose assembly on one side, and then affixed to that is a tube that will connect to the main line. So we need that, and we need a plant, which I'm going to take two plants out of my greenhouse here, and these are both crookneck squashes. I'm sorry, summer squashes. And since one is already starting to grow a summer squash, it's time to put it in the garden. Okay, so we're in the garden. I've already dug the hole, so you don't have to watch me do that. But I'm going to unpot the plant, which is pretty easy to do, like that. And then I'm going to take our emitter that goes underneath the plant, and I'm just going to put it down in the hole, just like this. And then I'm going to put the plant right on top of it, and I'm going to fill it with the soil, just like this. Maybe raise it a little bit to get our proper height around the plant, just like this. And then I'm going to take the end of the drip line, and I'm going to attach it to the main line. Now right here I have a main line that goes through my garden. I'm going to disconnect a previous line that I used that had an above ground dripper. I'm going to take that off. We're going with the new one, and I simply plug this in like that, and we are done. There is nothing more to it than that. And we have our plant here, and we have our water underneath. And when my garden irrigates, the water will flow through this tube and will actually go to the bottom side of that plant and will irrigate all around it. And then the top of the ground will stay relatively dry, which means that the weeds won't grow nearly as much. A little bit of water will wick to the top, but not too much. Most of it will be down at the root ball of the plant, which is where it can be used. And I'm not certain of this. We haven't experimented enough, but I believe this saves about 50% of the water that you would normally use in a regular drip system. Now, I do one more thing before we're done planting, and that is all of my plants get one of these rings. It's like a bottomless pot is what it is. This is simply 12-inch PVC pipe, and I cut it into sections, and I put this over the plant, just like you'll see here, and I push it down into the soil just a couple of inches, just like that. And the reason that I do this is because now, anytime I want to add anything to the plant, like for instance, I will put a watering can of B1 on this. And B1 stimulates the roots for transplant. And now when I do that, that B1 will be contained in that bottomless pot, if you will, and will go right to the roots, and it will not spread out to the dirt around it. So if you were to look in my garden, all of my plants have these rings on them. It's a method I experimented with many years ago, and it just seems to work real well. Okay, now before I finish the demonstration, I want to show you one other nice thing that I like about these emitters. I'm out in our field, our cantaloupe field, where we grow honeydew and cantaloupe and gala melons and watermelons and all sorts of melons. And this is already established, and I'm going to show you how I can still put one of these underneath the plant while it's growing and switch over if in fact I wanted to do that, which I'm going to do on one of these plants. And so Kathy is my videographer, and so I'll have Kathy step back just a little bit, and I'm going to use this tool. This is just a basic tool I made out of scrap. This is a foundation stake right here and a couple pieces of scrap metal, and I'm going to go up to one of my melons. I'm going to carefully move a couple of the branches here, and then I'm going to just push this into the ground underneath the main root ball. So I push that in just like that, and then pull it out. So this actually serves as a gauge for me. This serves as a gauge so I know how deep to go. Okay, now I'm going to take the emitter here, and I'm just going to push it down into that hole that I made. So I'm pushing it down into the hole. Okay, so it is in there, and it is underneath the plant. That has been placed underneath the plant. And I'm going to take this, and what I've been using here in this field is, these are called woodpeckers. Now, I didn't name them, I just bought them, but these are emitters that go right on top of the main line, as you can see, and then they produce 6 gallons per hour. I have them on for about 15 minutes every other day. And once again, here's that ring that I told you about. It contains the water inside. It doesn't run out. This dirt here, as you can see, is very dry. This dirt right here, very moist. So it helps me concentrate the water where I need it, not where I don't want it. So I'll pull this woodpecker out like that. As you can see, a little bit of water comes out. I'll take the end of my hose and I'll push it in just like that, and that's all there is to it. And so this plant now has an emitter underneath the root ball, and it will water from underground instead of on top. So that's it. That's your amateur video for today, and very amateur it is, and it demonstrates to you how you can water your garden from underground. And I'm not sure, once again, I have a lot of experimenting left to do, but I think this will use approximately half the water that I was using with my drip system. Okay, if you have any questions, email me, or when we get together for a picnic at the winery, we'll talk all about it. After we talk about Ian's debate at Las Vegas, I cannot wait to hear about that. See you later.